Welcome to what I consider the most exciting evening of the year for Women United, when we hear from the 4 grant finalists that we'll hear from shortly for our annual grants that benefit women and children. This is the culmination of our work all year long, and I've always loved this event because I call it like the spiritual shot in the arm. We get to hear about what people are doing that's really good in our community. And it's just, I mean, I've been reduced to tears during many pitches. So I challenge anybody who wants to make me cry today. I'm a pushover, really. All year long, our committees have been working hard. Our membership committee and our communications committee have worked to attract and retain us as members. And from our membership fees, of course, all of you have collectively funded these grants. Our grants committee has worked really hard to receive and review the grant applications. They've done site visits, they've asked good questions, and then they've culled the number of applications down to these 4 finalists we'll hear from shortly. Our Programs and Events Committee has planned and organized and gotten donations and is hosting this evening this event so we can hear these finalists. So we're pretty much an all-volunteer organization. We are supported by United Way of Greater Charlottesville, but a lot of this effort is us amateurs trying to figure out the AV. So thank you again, Amy. I want to thank our 2024 underwriters, the tax ladies, that's Libby, Carter Myers Automotive, Liza Borchez, Commonwise, Home Care, and Hansman Weeble. We also want to thank our corporate sponsors, and this is where I need to advance slides. Oh, I was able to do it, I'm glad. So, the gods are with me. Our corporate sponsors this year, and these are all-year sponsors, are ArcWise Wealth Management, and that's Kimberly Barrett Johnson, Jones & Company CPA LLC, Vicki Jones, Partnerships for Strategic Impact, Mary Frances Porter, I believe she's here, Pepsi-Cola Bottling Company of Central Virginia, Suzanne Brooks, Real Estate 3 Commercial Properties, and that's Robin Amato, and Wilkinson Wealth Management, Susan Wilkinson. I also want to thank our event sponsor this evening, Eastwood. Eastwood Farm and Winery has donated all of the wine to us this evening. Thank you. And applause for our underwriters and sponsors too, but Athena has been really generous to us on several occasions. We hosted a retreat there last year. We had an event there. She's donated wine before. She loves our organization. She mentioned to me when I went to pick up the wine that she was brought to this event years ago by Khaki Brooks, and many of you know her. And she was just so impressed the first time she was at this event. She was happy to support it again. Before we move on to the actual grants presentation, I want to recognize and thank this year's steering committee members for their service and really a job well done. We're still emerging from the pandemic and figuring out how we can go forward and be relevant and be successful as we have been for the last almost 20 years. I want to thank members of the steering committee, Mac Weems, Kristen Breen, Peggy Eccles, Libby Edwards-Allball, Portia Boggs, Jay Bradford, Ann Taylor, Simone Alley, Sasha Tripp, and I also want to thank our United Way liaisons, Marquis Smith, who's here, and Caroline Emerson. Thank you. And actually right now I'd like to ask any current or past members of the steering committee for United Way, please stand up and be recognized. And if you guys could give them a round of applause. Come on, stand up. Get up. Thank you. And I saw Sue Friedman and Deborah Conway didn't stand up, but they're definitely people that helped us through last year. Last, I'd like to thank the Programs and Events Committee members who have really rocked it this year. Deborah Conway, Alicia Lenahan, Joan Forrest, Anita Dunbar, who manned the bar this evening. Thank you, Anita Dunbar. Judy Jones-Pointer, Pam Callery, Ann Taylor, Debbie Garaja, who's on crutches and couldn't be here, Deb Jewell, thank you, Kristen Sarakti, who's sick, and Susan Gallander, who also pitched in to help us amateurs on the AV and videos, so thank you. Please stand, P&E members, and please recognize, yay. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Now I want to introduce Mac Weems. Mac is chair of the Grants Committee this year, and she's the next chair of our steering committee next year.
Good afternoon, I'm Mac Weems. I'm the chair of the Grants Committee for 2023-2024 year. And we've had an excellent experience this year with our committee. We have had 18 applications, a lot of interest in these grants. And we went through a process of narrowing those down, as Sherry mentioned. But it's been a really good experience. We've learned a lot about the nonprofit community, a lot about needs in our community and gaps in coverage, really. So it's been a great experience. I'm happy that you're all here tonight to get to hear the worthy 4 finalists present their pitches. And I think that you're going to be impressed with the diversity of the 4 finalists and the programs that they offer and how it can really serve our community. It was something we were all really impressed with on the Grants Committee. I also wanted to thank the members of the Grants Committee. These women have worked tirelessly through the nomination process, the sending out requests for proposals, receiving those, reading them, attending very lengthy meetings to discuss the grants, and then narrowing it down. Everyone's been very thoughtful and really wants to pay attention to equity, so that's been a good focus of ours this year. And I would like to say thank you to each of these women. First of all is Simone Alley. She's my vice chair, so thank you, Simone. Kristen Breen. Kristen was the chair of the committee last year, and she's been very helpful to me, so thank you, Kristen. Deb Jewell, Honey Ann Peacock, Jean Kemp, Mary Ann Harkins, Melody Hagspiel, Mimi Scully, Paige Eldridge, Sakina Al-Khatib, Samantha Savage, and Jill Colby. If you all will stand. Thank you. In 2024, we are going to award 2 $25,000 grants. And this will be done at the conclusion of our member voting period, which is from June 7th to June 17th. Tonight, you're going to hear from 4 finalists, each in a different sector of our nonprofit community. And each of them has a very worthy cause that I think that you'll see would very much benefit our community and the women and children that live here. The finalists who are here tonight to pitch to our membership are Charlottesville Free Clinic, Willa Barnhart, Foothills Child Advocacy Center, Sherry McKinney, Free Book Bus, Sharon Stone, The Front Porch, Caton Reynolds. And what we're going to do is they're going to stand up and have about 5 minutes for presentation, and then we'll take questions and answers for another 5 minutes, and then we'll switch. And as Sherry said at the end of the program, you can see each of the board members and the directors of these organizations at the back table if you have some further questions for them. But thanks very much. Next, I'd like to call up the Charlottesville Free Clinic.
Hello, everyone. My name is Willa Barnhart, and I am the CEO of the Charlottesville Free Clinic. And I just want to thank you so much for reviewing our grant and for inviting me here today. The Charlottesville Free Clinic is a 32-year-old nonprofit organization that provides free healthcare, mental health, dental care, and pharmaceuticals to working uninsured members of our community. So these are people that simply cannot afford to go see the doctor or the dentist or get their medication. And so it's a huge need in our community, and we know that because we can look at data that tells us that. According to the U.S. Census, there are 12,000 people without health or dental insurance in the Charlottesville and Albemarle area. There's also some 20,000 people that live in poverty. Some of those people might have Medicaid, some might not, some might qualify, some might not. Another way that we can look at that is with United Way's ALICE, Asset Limited Income Constrained Employed. There are 26,000 households in Charlottesville and Albemarle that are considered ALICE. ALICE households earn more than the federal poverty level, but not enough to afford basics where they live. So ALICE households usually have to make those hard choices between paying for rent or paying for their childcare versus going to see the doctor or going to see the dentist. So any way you cut it, we know that there are a lot of people out there that need healthcare that can't access it. And we see that in our clinic every day. So in the last year, we've had a 16% increase in dental patients. We've also had a 31% increase in medical clinic patients. And keep in mind, we don't do a lot of patient advertising. So this is all word of mouth. Somebody has a good experience, they tell their friends, and they come. So one thing we also look at, though, in addition to how many people that need care, is why are people not accessing care? And this is KFF, which is an independent source for health policy research. So 84% of adults reported medical bills or healthcare costs as their main barrier to care. And then if you look at the type of care that people often avoid, it is dental. Nobody likes going to the dentist, but it's also because it's very expensive. And so what we're seeing is that at the free clinic, when you remove cost as a barrier to care, people show up. And when you treat the whole person with an integrated care approach, a person's life, economic mobility, and health and attitude just improve greatly. And so Charlottesville Free Clinic overall, we've provided in the last year more than 8,000 visits across all of our clinics. We see 2,668 patients, and that's pretty evenly split between medical and dental. And we do this with a lot of volunteers. So we have volunteer doctors, dentists, hygienists, pharmacists, you name it. They work their day jobs, and then they come to the free clinic and they see our patients. So that's just an overview of who we are. But now I just quickly want to talk, or not so quickly, about the grant request. So the grant request is for our dental clinic. We currently have a dental clinic on Rose Hill Drive in the Department of Health. It has 4 small operatories. Our x-ray or pan room is also our storage closet. And we're still able in that space to see just over 3,500 patients each year. But our small staff, we're overwhelmed by the need in the community. There's at least a 9-month wait list for appointments. There are also, if you show up for walk-in clinic, we're bombarded. All the appointments are taken in 30 minutes. So we found a space in the same building as our medical clinic and pharmacy. We've transformed it into a dental clinic. We have 6 operatories. They're bigger, they're nicer, they're clean. They show that we're offering dignity with care. We're gonna be able to double our patients. I'm short on time, so I'm speeding through this. But projected number of dental patients last year or this current year, we're gonna see 3,600 visits. In the next year, we're gonna double that. And then if you look at the cost per visit, that drastically decreases. So, if you're, a lot of data. But it just shows this is an investment in the future of Charlottesville and keeping people healthy. The specific grant request is for 2 dental chairs in this space. We're gonna be working now with 10 rooms, and being able to staff those rooms allows us to just increase our patients exponentially. So that is our grant request, and I hope you would consider it. Thank you for your time. Yes, questions. The question was, can you explain integrated care? So we really try and focus on integrated care. Our medical clinic offers comprehensive primary care and specialty care, and then our dental clinic is primarily, hygiene, emergency dental cases. But what we see is the need for both of those for our patients. Most of our patients at the dental clinic haven't seen a dentist in their life, and they could be 40 years old. When they go to the dentist, they usually have underlying medical conditions as well: hypertension, high blood sugar, diabetes, and often these are untreated. And so what we like to do is focus on treating the whole person, because then they become more invested in their health and they become healthier. Second question was, how will the wait time be reduced for new patients? So by adding 2 10 operatories. We're able to double the patients. We anticipate cutting that wait time in half. We're also being able to pull in a lot more volunteer staff. So we partner with VCU, and they currently give us 2 dental hygienists every Friday. We're now going to be able to have 4, seeing additional patients. And then we are currently trying to hire another hygienist. So that wait time should drastically go down. I really appreciate what you said about the relationship between dental health and medical health. It is true. Because I'm not clinical, I probably can't speak to it as well as somebody else could, but the relationship between hypertension and poor oral health and gum disease is very extreme. And I wish we had our dental hygienist here, because she is the most passionate person and will tell you exactly what she sees every day and how much she cares for these patients. A normal cleaning takes, for anybody that has seen the dentist in the last even 3 years, is fine. But we're seeing patients that have never had a cleaning. So a normal cleaning actually is 6 visits to the dentist. They often have periodontal disease. They often can't even be practiced on that first day because they need to go on antibiotics for 30 days. So it's all tied together. Yes, the first question was, what percentage of patients are female? A larger percentage of patients are female. We have 54% are female, and I think that's great. And we like to support, obviously, both men and women equally, but we do have a larger percentage that are female. And the second question was... Oh, right. Most of the care in the dental clinic, it's fairly evenly split. So the emergency cases get somebody in the door, but then we provide them a comprehensive care plan. And so then they can see our hygienist, and that's where the VCU dental hygiene interns are so important, and additional staff. But the idea is to really get them on good footing. So we don't want people just coming for an emergency, or they'll be back in 3 years for an emergency. We really want to we really put a value on teaching them how to take care of their teeth. So in this new clinic, we even had in one room our hygienist insisted having a sink and a mirror, so she can actually teach somebody how to brush their teeth. Because again, our patients are people that haven't ever had the means to go to a dentist or be taught these things that we think are fairly basic. So the first question is, how many of our patients are children? We don't provide services to children because there are other resources in the community that do that, and we don't want to be redundant. Why do I keep forgetting that second? Medicaid. Oh, great question. So our dental clinic we have different qualifications for the medical clinic and the dental clinic. We waive those if we can provide integrated care and really make a difference in someone's life. For the dental clinic, it's a lower income level, and most of them could qualify for dental Medicaid. The thing is, no dentist office in the area really provide dental Medicaid because it's very expensive, it's a burden, and that's what we've seen. And so it doesn't necessarily matter if they are covered. One question we ask internally is, do we start to accept Medicaid? But that would change our business, so we're not doing that right now. The question is if we do dentures. Yes, we've started to. We partner with another free clinic that helps cover that cost, and then we can provide dentures. Or if there is a patient that is in need, we can refer them sometimes to outside dentist office that will do that work at no cost.
Thank you, Willa. That was a great presentation and really interesting to learn about that need in our community. Next, we have Foothills Child Advocacy Center.
Good evening. My name is Sherry McKinney, and I have the privilege of being the CEO at Foothills, and this is my 9th week. So I'm really excited to be with you. I'm not new to the child advocacy world, but I am new to Charlottesville, and I thank you for this opportunity. And hopefully, I'm going to start with a video.
A Children's Advocacy Center, or CAC, provides support to victims of child abuse. Without a CAC, an abused child may have to tell their story over and over again in settings that may be scary or where kids may think that they're in trouble. Then, families have to search around for the services their children need, all on their own. But in a CAC, a child tells their story to a trained interviewer who makes the process gentle on the child and finds the facts which are crucial to the child's case. Then, a community of professionals in medicine, law enforcement and child protective services, prosecution, victim advocacy, and other heroes work through the CAC to decide the best way to help the child. And CACs provide science-backed mental health care that heals kids from trauma and helps them reclaim their futures. This community of caring professionals rallies around the child so children have everything they need, all in one place, at the CAC. To find your local CAC or to sign up for updates, visit nationalchildren'salliance.org.
So that's a very broad overview of the really critical work that we provide in the community. Our mission at Foothills is to provide this coordinated system of effective response and intervention to children who have experienced abuse and sometimes neglect. Our goal is to minimize trauma, to promote healing, and to ensure that the child is safe. And we are accredited by the National Children's Alliance, and that's just a way to make sure that we are providing best practice services. We serve 9 localities, basically Charlottesville, Albemarle, and then the counties surrounding us. And the way that we receive referrals are either from the Department of Social Services, which is Children's Services, or through law enforcement. So our multidisciplinary teams, that's really what makes CACs function. And this is just a list of some of the community partners, the majority of community partners that are involved. And each of these multidisciplinary teams, again, there's 9 of them, each locality has one. They meet at least monthly or bi-monthly, and they staff every single case that comes through. And we do that as a team because different people on the team have different information about what has happened or may be happening or history that is very relevant to the situation. The specific services that we provide at Foothills that the grant would help fund is we have a forensic interviewer, multiple forensic interviewers, and a forensic interview is a legally sound, non-leading interview that is done with the child. It is recorded, so the child only tells their story one time. Before we existed, a child might disclose to a teacher that they were abused, and the teacher might tell Children's Services, who would call law enforcement, who would take them to the hospital, and the next thing we know, kids are telling their story 5, 6, 7 times. And every time a child is telling their story, it's more and more traumatic. So our goal is that the child comes to Foothills, they tell their story one time to this trained interviewer, and it's recorded. And the forensic interviewer is highly trained and skilled, and we also provide medical exams. So almost always there are times when a child has to go to the hospital, but our goal really is to be able to provide everything under our roof, because you can only imagine how traumatizing it is for a child to go through the ED to receive services. So the benefits of having these teams of people that work together it really enhances the effectiveness of what we're able to do for kids and families. Again, it helps reduce the trauma that a child experiences and helps us ensure their safety. It also helps us provide ongoing support to their non-offending caregiver, which you can only imagine, when a child has been abused, it impacts the entire family system, especially if the perpetrator is somebody in the household. So you can only imagine being that non-offending caregiver, your whole world has turned upside down, and we are able to help that caregiver navigate that successfully. We also make sure that kids and families are connected to the services that they need, whether that's mental health service, ongoing medical care, etc. We work together as MDTs to raise awareness about abuse, and then we work really, really hard to successfully prosecute offenders when possible. Last fiscal year, we served almost 350 children, 66% of them female. I think it's so fascinating. 212 of them identified as having a disability. 3% identified as LGBTQI+, 51% Caucasian, 22% identified as Black or African American, 17% other multiracial, 9% Latinx, 1% Asian. And then the pie chart to your right shows the ages of children served. If you can't see in the back, the smallest piece is 0 to 6. 23% of the children we served were 6 or under. 40% were 7 to 12, and then 37% were teenagers. Our funding would be utilized if we were to receive this grant to help pay for our forensic interviewer. Also, I just hired a program director. She starts on the 17th, and she will be providing support to our 2 forensic interviewers and our child advocate that I am currently reviewing resumes for, and then ongoing support for our multidisciplinary teams. Also, just wanted to let you know that the way that we keep data and outcomes, we use the National Children's Alliance database. It's called NCA Track, and we use that. And then every child and caregiver that comes to the CAC is given a survey. And, even a 4-year-old, we have surveys with a smiley face or a frowny face. And we ask them, every single person who comes through, for their feedback, because we want to make sure that we're being really child and family focused. And we use that information to make changes when possible. Okay, that's a child advocacy center in like 4 minutes. So do you have any questions? Yes.
Hi, Sherry. I'm Jean Kemp from the Grants Committee. And when we toured the Foothill Center, we were really impressed with how welcoming it was, but very low key and not grand. And I know that you receive a lot of, or you have received money in the past from state and local governments. Can you tell us something about how that is going in the current environment this year?
Yes, the question was about our government funding, I believe. State and local funding, and I got goosebumps when I was listening to you, because our biggest funder always, we were founded in 2006, and our biggest funder has always been VOCA dollars, Victim of Crime Act dollars, and our funding was cut federally by 65% this year. But I have really great news that I just got yesterday, actually, is that our funding is not only stable because of the state government, the state budget, but we also got a small increase. So we still, I'm working on my budget for next fiscal year, and we still have a gap, but it's not the gap that we expected, and we are so, so grateful. Thank you for asking. Yes, thank you, Gwen. So I don't have data. I can get you specific numbers. I don't have those with me. But what happened during COVID is kids were not at school. And so across the children's services world and the child advocacy center world, as with most things, right, are the numbers of reports for abuse and neglect really plummeted because kids were not being seen outside of their families. So our numbers did drop during COVID, but I can tell you that they picked back up, and we have pretty consistently done about 350 interviews a year, and we are in the process of building a lot of capacity, and that number is going to be higher next year, I assure you. Because in my experience, if you build it, they will come, and we are building it, and they will come. Yes, so the question is, how do kids get to us and how do they know about us? And what happens is a child will disclose, or law enforcement or children's services will receive concerns of abuse and neglect, almost always abuse, typically, and the law enforcement officer that is involved or the children's services worker that is involved call us and make the referral. And then the non-offending caregiver or an aunt or whomever the child is with will bring the child to the advocacy center. Yeah, great question. How am I going to keep this person employed is the question. How are we going to sustain this? And one of the things that I really love to do is fundraising, which I know maybe that's kind of odd, but I really do enjoy that. And frankly, that's not something that Foothills has done a lot of historically. And so I have very big plans to really learn more about the community And we are starting a new fundraiser this fall called Mustaches for Kids, which you're going to hear about. Please get on our website. It'll be really fun. So we have some things in the works. We hosted the pickleball tournament, which we think we're going to double our revenue next year. So we have a plan in place to do that. But that's an excellent question. Thank you so much. I'm very grateful.
Thank you, Sherry. We appreciate that information. Next, we have the free book bus.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sharon Stone. I am the founder and director of the Free Book Bus. Let me advance this. Thank you so much for having us here tonight. I've got my co-pilot here and some members of my board, and we really appreciate being voted into this final round. The mission of the Free Book Bus is to help kids build quality home libraries by giving them books to take home and keep. We do this by visiting places like public housing, areas that have a lot of refugee families like Hearthwood, Boys and Girls Clubs, Title I schools, and places like that. A lot of our stops have become recurring, which is really rewarding for us because now the kids know us and there's really nothing better than pulling in and having kids run to the bus. We serve an average of 530 kids and parents a month. Our first event in 2018 was with a very humble table and donated books at a food pantry in Batesville. Shortly after that, we got our bus, and today we have an accessible school bus and a full schedule of recurring stops. This month, we reached an exciting milestone of 50,000 books out since 2018. This picture on the right is a stop at the Newcomer Learning Community, and this is part of Albemarle County Schools. These are recently arrived high school students who are refugees who don't speak English well enough yet to be in school for their core subjects, so they're pulled out to this special school for part of the school day. So in October of 2022, after numerous requests, especially at food pantries, for extra detergent, personal care items, we added this shelf to the bus. And this was co-created with our guests, mostly teenage girls, me asking them, what do you need, what do you want? And they were very happy to tell me. And so last year, over 3,000 people got a personal care item. We don't take those to every stop, just certain smaller stops where people have barriers to access, like transportation, income, et cetera. Our most popular items are hair bonnets for sleeping and deodorant. We're very grateful to have a lot of volunteers, and they're a mix of UVA students. I received a trilingual UVA volunteer this semester, and also longtime volunteers like one of my board members who's here, and they do everything from helping on the bus to sewing bonnets to sorting stuffed animals and cleaning books, and we're very grateful for them. These are some of the organizations we work with, and this is a mix of people that we visit with the bus and also people we partner with. For example, we join up with Sin Barreras at Townwood, which is a Hispanic mobile home community near Albemarle High School. Sometimes we do stops with community bikes. Yesterday we were at Hearthwood with them. So it's a mix of working with other nonprofits to increase everyone's capacity and also the places that we visit. So on the right here, I mentioned the Newcomer Learning Community. One of our newest projects I'm very proud of is called Bilingual Book Buddies, and we've had one event. And so these students, the book bus bought 42 copies of Elephant and Piggy by Mo Willems, and these students, who a lot of them just arrived, spent weeks practicing this book, and I thought that it would make it less intimidating that they were going to be reading to preschoolers. So they practiced and walked over to Greer, to the Bright Stars, and everybody got their partner and read the books, and they were very nervous, the high schoolers were, but it was a big success, and after that, everyone chose books. And so we hope to continue that next year. This is one of my all-time favorite bus videos, especially because it was right before COVID. I was visiting Thai River, and the students were on the bus, and they saw their teacher coming to get them, and in one of those collective kid moments, they all decided, let's surprise her. She was coming to get them, but they thought they would surprise her. And this is an example, I think, of how the bus, I was crammed into a corner and just got my phone out because it was like they just made it their space.
Get down, get down! Sit down! Sit down, ready?
So I don't think she was surprised, but they were delighted with themselves. And later, this was especially touching to me because it would be a long time before kids were in a puppy pile like that when COVID hit. So how would we use the proposed grant funds? We are a very small organization with almost no overhead because we are headquartered in our basement. And we would spend most of it on books and art and school supplies. Kids at every stop are desperate for crayons, coloring books, sketch pads. It's like every stop across the board want something to do with their hands. And so I stock those, and it takes a lot of crayons to keep stocked. We write general expenses into all of our grants so that we're not relying on any one source for things like insurance and gas and those things that we need but are less exciting than books. If we were funded, this grant would fund our stops for an entire year. So the impact it would have would fund the stops for an entire year and would also serve 6,800 people. As I said, we see about 530 kids a month. And so because we're small, this would fund us for the whole year. I want to point out this picture on the right here. I was at they've just changed their name. This is the Virginia Institute of Autism, now known as Centers for Neurodevelopment. This is a student who had just found a book with touch and feel spiders, and he was delighted and showing his aide the touch and feel spiders, and I was keeping my distance from the spiders. And on the left is some of the teens at CHS at the after-school club for refugee families. One of the best parts about being the bus driver is the thank you notes I get from kids, and I love my Loretta Lynn outfit here. I keep all of these. I have a giant photo album full of these, and I have some of them laminated on the bus because it's just the best to get kid notes. I never thought I'd be in a position to get kid notes like this. So thank you. Take questions. So the question is, where do I go during the summer? I don't really have a hugely different schedule. I just keep up with my recurring stops. 2 years ago, the Piedmont Housing Association of Residents asked us to start a summer reading program because some of their kids have a harder time getting to the library, mostly due to transportation. And of course, everyone wants to go to the library and get the fun prizes and track their books. So we started a reading and prize program. And so I started that at public housing, but everyone loved it so much. I now do that all summer, and it's fun to watch the teens kind of lose their minds over prizes as well as the little kids. And we do summer schools and a few other different things, but it's largely the same as the rest of the year. The question is, how did I come up with this idea? I've always loved books, and I was really at a personal crossroads with one kid in college and one in high school. And the idea just came to me one day, and I furiously Googled to make sure no one else was doing it, and just created the website very aspirationally that day and the Facebook page. And then thankfully, my husband likes buying vehicles online, so he was really into the idea of getting a bus, and we just started. Oh yes, she's been very good to us. We are currently one of her nonprofit partners. The question was, do I know the Scrappy Elephant? We have been on as a nonprofit partner for a little over a year, and so when people shop there, they get a button, we get 50 cents, and I think we're up to about $1,000 in store credit. So I go in every month and I buy coloring books and pencils and crayons. When we first started, the question is, what percentage of my books are donated? So when I first started, it was just 100% people giving me their old books. Very quickly, I realized that those books were not representing the children I was seeing, and so I just learned to write grants by starting and not being good at it and then learning how. And now I think about 60% of our books are purchased with the kids we are seeing in mind so that every kid can see themselves on the cover when they get on. Great question. The question was, am I partnering with the library? I used to be a library volunteer, so when I got this idea, my first stop was to go talk to the library director to make sure that what I was doing was complementing what they do and not duplicating or in any way being a hindrance. I have met with the bookmobile director, and so we don't necessarily work together, but I just make sure that what I'm doing is places that they don't necessarily go or can't get to. So the bus is parked at our house, and people are welcome to come by anytime. They can just call me. And my stop calendar is on the website, and any stop that's not a school is pretty much open for anyone to come by and check it out. Some of the schools require more permissions. What was the second half of your question? Oh, the hours. It's pretty much 7 days a week. I try to give myself weekends off, but most of my stops are either at 10 o'clock in the morning at some of the specialty schools I go to, or I often meet the elementary bus at 2:30, so it's kind of at the ends of the day. I'm kind of at that awkward tipping point where it's hard to do what we're doing with just the people we have, but also, we don't have a real building or anything. We have a really great group of volunteers. I have some ideas of how to increase our self-funding capacity by getting a second bus. At this point, we're in Charlottesville, Albemarle, and Nelson, and then some of the outlying communities when asked, occasionally. So at this point, my growth plan would be to find someone else to work with me, and we would get a second bus because I'm at the point where I'm turning down requests. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sharon. We appreciate that. And last, we have the front porch.
I get to go last. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It is such an honor to be here with these wonderful organizations. And each time we've come, it's the best part is just learning all of the good work that is happening in our community. And thank you all so much for helping make it all happen. My name is Kaiten Reynolds, and I'm the new executive director at the Front Porch. I think I've met some of you the last time we were here, but Emily Morrison, you might have met her the last time. For those of you who are not familiar with the Front Porch, I just want to give you a quick overview of what we do before we get to the grant. Oops, there's a little bit missing. We are a school. We have about 500 students of all ages, kids and adults, who are coming to the Front Porch each week. We're also a concert venue. We have a small space downtown where we hold little 100-person concerts, and then we have larger concerts that are up to 700 people in larger venues. Rivanna Roots, you might have been to one of those at Rivanna River Company. And then we are also an organization that provides free community programming. We host jams that are open to the public at the Front Porch for people to come play music together. We work with JABA and Hospice of the Piedmont to provide music for seniors and those in end-of-life care. And then we also provide free music education to hundreds of children each week. And that is what we're here to talk to you about today. Our program is called Roots and Wings. That's what we call our children's program. And it's kind of broken into 3 parts. We have a hometown choir, which serves elementary students. We have preschool students I'll talk about that in just a little bit. And then we have a partnership with the Boys and Girls Club where Lily Williams, who's pictured on the right, teaches West African dance. But the purpose of Roots and Wings is really to work towards equity in music education. Hundreds of families in Charlottesville cannot afford music lessons, nor can many of them do not have the time or the transportation to access music education. And so our goal of the program is to bring music to children where they are. It's really exciting to be back to see you all. The last time we were here was in 2020, and it's just very exciting to share with you all the growth that we have experienced. One of the big reasons is because we hired a director of children's of outreach, and it has just made such a difference having someone dedicated to that. Before, it was Emily and I kind of just scrambling, like, let's do this over here and let's go here and try this. And it's having a dedicated employee has made such a difference. We have started small, obviously. You can see pre-COVID, COVID was zero because we worked completely with schools and we weren't allowed to go in. And since then, we've started small and have grown. And this year, we were working with over 600 kids every week. So each of those dots represents a location. The blue are all of the preschools, 21 preschools. The green are the Charlottesville City schools that we work with, and then the yellow are the Boys and Girls Clubs that we attend. And so that's over 30 classrooms, over 600 children each week, all school year long this year. Here's a picture of Erin, one of our teachers. So talk just a little more about the work that we're doing. At preschool, we partner with Head Start, Bright Stars, Barrett, Early Learning Center, oh gosh, already, okay, and the YMCA. 89% of the preschoolers we work with receive financial assistance. You all know from the research that music at early childhood makes a big difference in academics and brains and just all of that growth. It also is connecting. I think that one of the best ways is something one of our little kids said, and which was, music makes you love others. And I don't know that I could say it much better than that. I'm gonna skip through. There's Dorothea. Those are our little Barrett kids practicing for graduation. That's Addison. And this is a quick, I'm gonna just keep on getting. Hometown Choir is our elementary program, and this is where we partner with the YMCA at all 6 Charlottesville elementary schools, and we have teachers who go there once a week throughout the school year. They teach all the kids at each elementary school the same songs, and then twice a year they get together, all schools come together and perform together. And this is really about the special experience of performing in a choir. You know, it creates those core memories for kids. It helps build their self-confidence, especially for shy kids. Performing in a group can really be the thing that helps them get over that hump. There they are at the Grand Illumination this year. It's a really wonderful thing for parents as well who don't have time to take their kids to extracurriculars. We come to the after-school program and they get this opportunity. And we get to see little kids come all the way through preschool, and then we see them in Hometown Choir. Your impact of what we would, if we were awarded the grant, we have the same exciting problem, which is that we can't say yes to all the people that who want this work. So what we'd be able to do is grow our preschool program. We have some preschools that we know could very much benefit from us being there twice a week. So we'd like to do that. It would help us grow that and add some additional locations. And then we have a part-time teacher who we would love to have move to full-time. We've learned that having that full-time dedicated person really makes a difference. And so this person would be working to build a robust curriculum and teacher resources so that we can scale this program in an effective way. Thank you. And I will clarify that we're already able to sustain her as a part-time. She works about 30 hours now, so it would only be adding 10 additional hours. It wouldn't be a full-time position. But yeah, after that, we're finding that the children's programming we're having wonderful success with grants, and we're also having more and more partner organizations who want to contribute. All of our partners, those who can contribute to this program in some way to help fund it, do. The YMCA helps fund a little bit. Albemarle County Schools have said, we want this, and we're gonna make it work in our budget to help assist with the funding, so we feel confident that we can continue that. Yeah, so this past year, our total annual budget was about 1.3 million, and we're imagining that it'll be around 1.6 next year. We do have a lot of earned income. Over around $600,000 comes from our school. We have a lot of earned income, but this program itself is completely grant and donation funded. I don't know if I answered all of your question. Did I get it all? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we raise around $400,000 in grants, public support. Sure. That's a great question. In preschool, we really are trying to fill a gap. Most of these preschools, there are a few, depending on where the Bright Stars and Head Starts classrooms are located, it's really up to the school. Some of those schools, the music teacher might see them and some of them don't. But most of those preschools do not have any music. And so we really do feel like we're filling that gap. Charlottesville Public School, we're very lucky in this town that all of our public elementary schools have a music teacher, and so kids who are in K through 5 are receiving weekly music lessons. What we really see the value of the hometown choir as being more of a performance opportunity for them and an enrichment activity. So it's a little different, and it's about connecting all of those kids and the families. It's just a really wonderful opportunity for children from different schools to get to meet other kids and have that experience of working towards something with a group of people and coming together and being nervous together. And it really does, I think we can all think back to like something in our childhood, that some moment we had where I'll never forget that time. And those core memories really can make a huge difference in a child's life and help them choose music if that's something that they love. And so we're really just trying to create those opportunities so that they feel like it's something they can choose for themselves.
Caden, thank you so much. That was really informative. I appreciate it. And thanks to all the grant finalists who are here tonight. I think your presentations were really moving, very insightful, and wow, it's going to be a hard decision, I'm sure, in our voting process. We wish you each the best of luck as we proceed to our voting. And next, we're going to have Jay Bradford with our membership committee step up, and she is going to explain to you how we vote.
Hi, everyone. Thank you again for being here. And let's give another round of applause for the grant finalists. I mean, the work you guys are doing is truly amazing, and you're needed in the community, all of you. And if I had all that money, I would give it to all of you guys. So just saying that. So there are a few thank yous in order. First, to our grant finalists for their tireless dedication, and then to our grants committee for their meticulous review process, and to each of you for your unwavering support and commitment to Women United in Philanthropy. And now it's time for the action, okay? So voting for our 4 finalists will open on June 7th. Again, that's June 7th, and it will close on June 17th for all Women United members. So keep an eye out for our email that's coming from us, Women United at womenunitedcville.org, with the subject Women United in Philanthropy 2024 grant ballot. If you didn't get one, please reach out. We'll make sure you get it. Your vote actually really matters, and you heard the stories today, and it will help us determine which organization receives the grant. Remember, your voting is ranked, so make sure you rank all of your finalists in the order of the ones that you want the most to receive this grant. And don't worry if you need more information about your decision. These pitches are being filmed, and the video will be sent to you all to help make your decision. So let's strive for 100% voting participation. Remember, alone we can do so little, but together we can do so much. Your vote is not just a mark on the ballot, it's a symbol of your commitment to creating positive change in our community. It's a way to amplify the voices of those who work tirelessly to uplift women and children in need. Thank you all for your dedication, your passion, and your unwavering commitment. And please stay until 7:30 to chat with the grant finalists and then to enjoy some of the beautiful charcuterie boards and wine. Thank you, guys.
Good afternoon. My name is Mac Weems, and I'm the Grants Chair for the 2024 Grant Cycle with Women United in Philanthropy. I hope you enjoyed the presentations that we saw tonight. They're very moving. Each of these organizations are very impactful in our community, and we hope that you'll take some time to consider thoughtfully which organization you're going to vote for. And we're striving for 100% voting this season, so please look out for an email from Women United, and it will talk about the grant process and have your ballot in there. So go online, vote. This is your opportunity to share your voice with what matters in our community and how we as collectively can impact women and children in our community. So go on and vote. Thank you.